We're back.
Hi, hola.
We're back here in studio. Good to see you, family. Hope you joined us for some of our extra live sessions over the weekend.
Yeah, that was fun. We saw most of you. That was cool.
She didn't even ask Dr. Rydell before she did Facebook Live with him. She just did it.
At all. Yeah.
We do whatever we want.
It was fun though. A lot of you guys clicked and joined, and we're happy to be in the studio and see the studio. Trisha McMillan is like a sweetheart, so some of you recognize her name. Nia's excited to pen pal. She started picking up her toys. Like, I'm gonna send her this, and
yeah. So Trisha McMillan's daughter is going to be pen pal with Janelle's daughter after hanging out last week. Trisha's great.
Oh yeah.
Big time producer in Chicago, and my favorite thing was when Callie said, "Can you say hi to Michael for me?" And then Michael went in onto the comment section and said, "Hi, Callie."
That is too cool.
Michael Rydelnik is the man.
Yes.
But today we got a scenario for you. I'd love to hear your response. Like, pretend you are this woman, or if it's you, pretend it's a dad with his kids. Go into an Arby's. Now that's a good parent. I love me some Arby's. You like Arby's?
No. But
what's wrong with you?
It's not like when I was growing up, not in the East Coast. So I'm not used like Arby's. There's only one thing that Arby's has, one thing, and it's the fries.
Curly fries?
Yeah, they're like seasoned, right? Yeah, that's it.
Correct.
Very good.
Have you ever had anything else there?
Yeah, because Len made me.
And it wasn't a good experience?
When you travel with Len, you don't get to pick. Wherever we stop, that's what you get to eat.
Arby's is like high class fast food in my opinion.
Is it? What?
They got the meat.
Isn't it like a bunch of cold cuts?
Do you see what I have to deal with?
No, I don't like that.
No, they got the chicken sandwiches that are so good. They got hot roast beef sandwiches.
They got gyros, right? I think that's what I got.
Gyro?
No?
Gyros?
No, you're lying.
I was in Athens, yeah, that's what they say.
Okay, go ahead.
Whatever. So this lady was not upset about the meat. So she's actually from Elk River, Minnesota. Been there. Nice place. Elk River, so according to Care 11 News, Christine Hemsworth was getting ready to walk inside with her two kids into an Arby's. Come on, kids, when she saw the message. It was taped to the front door and it read, quote, "Notice, only well-behaved children who can keep their food on their trays and their bottoms on their seats are welcome. If you can't do this, you will be asked to leave. Thanks."
Wow.
I don't know if that's the tone of it, but it felt that way when I read it.
You do a great job at delivering tone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. She wrote, I was shocked to find a sign like that. It's a fast food restaurant. It's nothing like white tablecloths. It's supposed to be family-oriented as far as I knew. Hemsworth still decided to go inside to eat and said they didn't have any issues, but apparently that was because her children kept their food on their tray and their bottoms on their seats. However, she did admit to being overly cautious during the meal. She said it was kind of uncomfortable in the restaurant the time we were there. I have a toddler. I wasn't sure if it was because they didn't want to clean up messes. I always clean up my children's mess anyway, but it was uncomfortable and it was a stressful meal. Later on, no surprise, Arby's as a corporate entity issued a statement where they said they recognized the sign was insensitive, it was removed, they've disciplined the manager, doesn't reflect our values, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, Christian woman, well, I don't know if she was a Christian, but a woman walked up, imagine it was you, Christian, sees the sign, "You're not welcome here unless your kids sit down, be quiet, and keep their trays on their
That's crazy.
On their food in their trays." What do you do? So let us know. What would you do with this?
I know what I would do.
What would you do?
Myrna is joining us. Hello, Myrna.
Myrna. Little late. Better late than never.
I do want to highlight Mike. That's my dude. Mike says you are not too short, by the way.
Come here.
Awesome.
Come here.
Awesome. Look
Let's
at
show
this.
him.
No, you just
Look at how short you are.
That.
Look, come over here. Look at this. Look at this.
No. You know,
I was on my tip.
the boys do that. They wait right before somebody clicks the camera and they go, "Pew," and get it. Right next to their dad.
You are kind of short. You are kind of short. It's all right.
Adrian, good morning. And Mike, Fred, good morning. Maria says she got to see us because she's home being sick. Oh, Maria, I'm sorry.
Get better. But stay away. I don't want to get sick.
Wow. He's telling Kelly that the same thing. He's a germaphobe. Maria says Arby's is good. They got really good sandwiches, hot or cold.
Yeah, what's your problem?
I don't like Arby's. Richard, good morning. You know what I really like? Really, if somebody can bring it back, Quiznos. Oh my gosh. Can somebody come back with some like Quiznos like sandwiches? That was the best.
You were such a diva.
Quiznos was good.
You obviously have not ordered correctly at Arby's. It's very good.
It could be that. So help me. If you, while we talk, if you guys could suggest a good sandwich at Arby's. And then I'll surprise Lynn. I'll walk in there like I know what I'm doing.
Myrna wants to know where her popcorn is. I'm far too cheap to buy anyone
I am
popcorn.
so mad that we didn't get the popcorn. Len loves
overpriced.
popcorn. Is it for real?
Garrett's popcorn is way overpriced.
You could probably
Good.
order online though, right?
I guess. Or you can just make your own. It saves
You
some money.
look really boring.
We're-
People were making a big deal about the popcorn.
Here's the consolation prize, Myrna. Go ahead, go to the store, buy some popcorn, make it. Think of us when you eat it.
What the heck?
You're welcome.
Richard says, thank you for the videos from Chicago. They were great.
Oh, thanks, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Sandy says, Janelle, my mom always said good things come in small packages. Yeah.
You are small. That's good.
Miranda says, that's a negative, Brian. Negative.
Okay, knock on your neighbor's door, ask them to borrow popcorn, but really just take it because how could you give it back? And then make it and think of us.
Mike says, if she felt offended in regards to the story you just read, maybe she should change the way she allows her children to behave. Kind of harsh sign, though.
What would you do if you walk up with your 16,000 children and there's a sign about kids staying seated and keeping food in the
Today,
tray?
I would walk in. My kids know how to behave. Back
Okay.
when back when I had 2 or 3 boys, when
Hold up! When you were at my house, remember? When
I know.
watched you do it. Her daughter was trying to grab stuff off the counter.
Oh my gosh.
She's like, knock it off!
No, but you know what Raina does? She did it yesterday. We went to an event. She has this little look, and she got a free T-shirt yesterday. And the comedian kept pointing at her, and Raina, I saw her. She does this little facial expressions. So if I take all of them, they know how to win the restaurant over. Back when I just had boys, the 3 boys, and when the older 2 were younger, I would have walked up to the door, seen that sign, and turned around. It's like...
Why? Because you're afraid you get kicked out, or you're
yeah,
mad and you're protesting?
I would have been afraid to get kicked out.
Because your kids were just all over.
Because
the
my
place.
kids, no, they weren't all over the place.
They're
You can ask Len.
totally undisciplined.
No, they wasn't
You
like
let them
that.
do whatever they want.
Stay on their seats and like all of that. Like really, no.
What's a restaurant?
And listen. My 2 boys were 14 months apart. Then I had Jonah, who was a baby. I was just overwhelmed, and I was a newer mom. That's a lot of pressure. I'm sorry. Hey, I mean, they're grown and they've survived, and they're awesome young men. So if you want to talk about how horrible they were, whatever. They outgrew it. Damaris says, yay, Brian and Janelle are back. Jennifer says, I've been told really nasty stories by friends who have worked at Arby's. It's okay that you aren't irregular. Oh, well, good to hear.
So what I do is I just don't listen to those stories, and I eat me some
I
curly
know.
fries.
That's how I am with Chinese food. Like, don't tell me anything. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, they got this fried chicken sandwich with bacon and Swiss on it.
Is it hot, though? Because I just like hot sandwiches.
Yes, it's hot.
Oh,
You don't know what you're doing at
I
Arby's.
don't.
What did you order?
Like, some
A
cold cut
sandwich?
stuff
Who
that
does
was
that?
nasty. The gyro was, like, okay, but there's, like, real gyro restaurants here. So Arby's is
If
like...
you want a euro, go to a Greek restaurant.
That's what I'm saying.
Don't be. It's like going to Burger King and being disappointed the taco wasn't very good.
Exactly.
It's Burger King doesn't make tacos.
Thank you, Jennifer. She gets it. Jennifer says she knows my boys from when they were little. She said your boys were sweet, just busy like boys are. That's what it was. I was managing a lot of boys.
They're busy. Busy not sitting in their seats keeping their food on their tray. Well, but that's what the
They
manager
were
means.
not bad, but when I see that sign, I'm like, oh my gosh, my kids are like kids. So you already feel the pressure. I would feel like they're watching me. And when you're a mom and you got little kids and you go to a place like this, you're looking for relief. Oh, you don't think that's a lot of pressure?
Well, I don't have, like, I would have probably turned around and left. Sarah would have gone in and probably would have been like, excuse me, I'd like to speak to the manager, please.
Right. See, I don't
She
do
would
all
have
that.
like gone and like started cracking skulls, you know. I mean,
That's tight.
verbally, in Jesus' name.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, because little kids have a hard time sitting still and keeping their food on their tray. I mean, my son yesterday had a donut, my 5-year-old, and I turn around and his face is like black from chocolate. this huge circle.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you doing? So there's crumbs all over the place. But in some respects, I mean, Sarah and I didn't go out much when they were little because they're a hot mess. And I don't want to ruin other people's meal.
It's Arby's. I went out to places like Chick-fil-A. Now, when I mean the food off the table, whatever, I didn't have issues with that. It's them sitting down. You know, go back to when there were 1, 2, 3. Sometimes they're like antsy. They want to get out of the cart, out of the whatever.
And they scream.
Yeah, you're in a fast food restaurant. No, that's crazy.
So what? You just can let stuff go all over the place? Your kids would be a hot mess, and
they were not a hot mess.
Other patrons have to deal with your kids being crazy.
It is Arby's.
Well, it doesn't mean they don't want to have a nice meal.
Whatever, that's crazy. Sherry says smokehouse brisket is excellent but expensive. Wait for a coupon. I'll write that down.
She went once, didn't like what she ordered, and now she's written off Arby's completely.
Yeah, basically.
Isn't that terrible?
Exactly. Maria says I would have gone in and absolutely ignored the sign. With my kid on the spectrum, that could have had They could have had a meltdown anytime. See, that's messed up from Arby's. Mike wants to know how it wasn't Isaiah. Isaiah is not a comedian. But Elijah did do a good job, and Len ended up in the routine, so it was like about Len. It was hilarious.
Look, it's Lisa Anderson.
You better straighten up.
Lisa Anderson is here. Dun, 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 dun. What do we do when she shows up? She's famous, guys, so be sure to say hi to Lisa Anderson from Focus on the Family. If Focus on the Family's watching, you gotta talk again to Lisa about your kids misbehaving in the restaurant. Go ahead.
So
Focus on the family.
My kids, like Jennifer says, I had 4 boys in a row, and they were sweet but busy boys, busy. And so if I went into Arby's and they had a sign that said only well-behaved children welcomed, and by well-behaved they mean they got to stay in their seat and the food has to remain on the plate, I would have seen that sign and walked away.
Should Christians be causing a stink, though? Should we go in there with our kids and be like, this sign is terrible?
I wouldn't do that.
I'm not going to care about whether my kids mess around, and if they do, I'm going to tell you your sign is wrong.
The only time I speak up in situations like that is if I see them calling out certain kids and not others. You know, I've had to call people out in situations like that. But if they're giving me a warning and I'm like, okay, that's the only kids that are welcome, I would turn around because it puts I could go home for all that. If I'm going to be at Arby's and have eyes on me, that's crazy. Myrna says it's Arby's. How much does one really expect when going to Arby's?
Arby's is like bougie fast food. It's not like you're going to
oh my gosh,
Taco Bell.
Chick-fil-A is bougie's fast food. Myrna says, now I'm not saying it should be treated like a playground, but it's Arby's, not Pier W. Where's that?
I'm not fancy as Myrna. I don't go there. I don't know.
I haven't eaten there in 15 years. Plus, food isn't that good. I agree. Their food is not that good. Fred says, Janelle, you have to try the steak sandwich, not the dip. That one is nasty.
I've heard that Arby's is the place for singles, Lisa Anderson. That's where they pick up all the great men.
What?
Good Christian boys hang out at Arby's. Is that right, Lisa? I'm never going to get her to make a comment on here. But
no, she's busy.
But see, Sarah and I didn't go out to eat much when we had little kids. Number 1, because we're poor. Number 2, because we're cheap. Number 3, because we didn't want to disturb other people's meal when our kids couldn't handle it. Because you're right, there's a certain age where kids aren't old enough yet to know better, and you can't reason with them. And they might cause a fuss. So I thought about other people as more important than myself and didn't go out.
That's good.
But you just said, I don't care about other people. I'm going to ruin their meal if I want to.
When I was by myself and my kids were like younger and I was stressed out or whatever, I would go to places like Chick-fil-A, Arby's if I would have liked the food. When I was with Len after church, we would take our boys to the restaurant. And Len had his rules. And he had this thing I had to ask the boys this year, and they're 16 now. It was like the secret he had where he would go into a restaurant and they would be tripping. They would be like 4 or 5 years old and they're acting up. And he would take them to the bathroom and they would come back and the tears were coming down. And I never understood, like, what do you do? Like, take your belt off? Like, how do you get a kid in a public restaurant? And they told me that he would go in the stall and correct them quietly, and then look at them and be like, and if you cry, you're in big trouble. They have to like hold it in. Isn't that crazy? He was not playing. There was only one time we had to, and they were really little, so he was still a beginner. We had to pick him up and leave because of what you said. He really doesn't like disturbing other people.
Now there's exceptions, but I really like I think that's one of my obligations as a believer is not to think the whole world revolves around me. It's like if my kid is a little crazy, I got to find out some alternative thing and not just think the rest of the world has to accommodate me.
Yeah,
I know it sounds crazy, but
I agree. Damaris says they're kids, they're still learning. I would give them some room to learn and grow. Yeah, and we always look for kid-friendly restaurants. Red Robin was a favorite in Beechwood. I love that one. Myrna says, say again, Brian, who hangs out there asking for a friend? Oh.
I've heard it's where the Christian women need to go to find great single guys. They hang out at Arby's, don't they?
I have no idea.
Kelly's saying no. Kelly's saying no.
Adrian says, whoever wrote the sign couldn't possibly have children. None of my children are neatly before the age of 8. And even then, there's mishaps.
Oh, man. It's like, what is it? No matter how many times you tell kids, the whole place where they're sitting and the floor underneath it, it's a mess.
I got one kid that's like that.
So
was like that. Oh my gosh.
So you go to, what fast food place do you go to? You don't go to Arby's because you're too important for that. So where do you go?
Now we do, well, I told you now, because I got too many kids, I go to Chick-fil-A and just get myself some food. And they get peanut butter and jelly. Because it's too many of them.
So let's say
we used to do like Wendy's. We did Chick-fil-A a lot. But you know what you do at Chick-fil-A when you got a lot of kids? You go to McDonald's first and get them dollar sandwiches. And then when you get to Chick-fil-A, you get yourself a meal because it's so expensive. And then they play in the playroom.
We would get and order chicken nuggets there and let the kids share it.
A lot of money over there.
Just one order of it and let them share it?
My kids eat.
So what do you do if your kids drop a ketchup-covered nasty French fry on the ground?
Oh.
What do you do?
What do you mean?
You just leave it there?
No, I would pick it up.
You pick it up.
Yeah, why
every
time.
Not? So when
I was
leave,
done, I would always clean. I hated leaving a table that's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this woman. Yeah, I would always pick up after myself, especially the floor. Wow, why?
Even if it's a booth and the way back in the corner with some like hairy, gross stuff, you're gonna climb under there and go get it?
I wouldn't get on the floor and like scoop stuff up, but
so you'd
stuff
leave it.
That I could get to. You're like, tell me, would you leave it there? Maria says, oh, common, if you can't go at Arby's with kids, that's silly. That's how they learn. By the way, we should be a village. I agree. I think kids need to go to public places to learn. And then you just take them to kid-friendly restaurants.
No, well, that's just it, though. So when I think of that, if I want to not worry about my kids acting crazy, I'm going to go to Chuck E. Cheese. I'm going to go to a McDonald's with a playland that has a separate room.
Red Robin was good.
But the McDonald's, sometimes the playland is in a separate room with a door because they don't want to disturb the patrons who are there just eating, and they don't want to be around crazy kids. Yeah. There are restaurants that are designed for kids to be able to act crazy and have nobody have a problem. Arby's is not that restaurant. It's not fancy,
it's still Arby's. They need to stop the madness. Mike says, when our young children made a mess as normal small children, we would clean up. But if children are stomping on the horsey sauce and stuff like that, they need to control their children.
When we used to have little packets of horsey sauce, yeah, you'd have to fix that problem.
Yeah, that is the thing. Rachel says, yes, even as an adult, I've had mishaps and worn some of my food.
Oh, Janelle does that all the time. We were at a meeting in Chicago. We finished lunch. Where all these morning hosts, she had mustard all over her pants.
I always do that.
She didn't even know.
I don't understand.
She had like just mustard.
It
on
was
her pants.
not that bad.
It was a lot of mustard.
Wow.
It was a lot, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It wasn't not that serious.
So the sign at Arby's will say, people with small children and Janelle Nevels.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So, I don't know though. I guess they shouldn't have the sign. I know why the company took it down. But if your kids are gonna act crazy, don't go to a restaurant.
A lot of times you can't plan it. You know? So what do you tell parents? Like, you're out and...
Go to the grocery store, get food, go home, make it.
That's not cool. First of all, the reason my husband took me to a restaurant is because I spent all day, every day, in the house with little kids. I would be very disappointed if he could take me. If he told me, well, let's just get some food and go cook in the house. You want to get out. You had a woman out. You had a wife stay home.
We got a babysitter.
So the kids don't get to go out.
We had an era where I remember one time we took all the kids out to eat, and we were like, oh my goodness, we haven't done this in years. Like, we had this thing about if our kids couldn't behave, I'm not going to go take them to a restaurant because I got to think about other people is more important than myself. Just because I want to go to a restaurant doesn't mean that if my kids are crazy, I can just ruin everybody else's meal and they got to deal with it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some reasonable expectation in a restaurant that people behave like civilized people, and children don't always do that, right?
It's true.
And you said you would have turned around and walked away. Why?
Because I didn't need the pressure. My kids, I mean, I think they could have handled it, but that's more pressure on me compared to like a Chick-fil-A. It just gives especially like we only welcome, it just gives the impression that they're like
harsh.
Watching you and just waiting. And
That's harsh.
yeah, that's
They
crazy.
shouldn't have to put up a sign. I think people ought to think of others as more important than themselves, as the scriptures say. But
But then that's awkward when you don't have a sign. What do you do as a restaurant? Like going up to people and like, yo, man.
You'd have to.
That's crazy.
I mean, especially if it's a nicer one. But I get it. I understand where people are coming from. The sign is super rude, and no wonder they got in trouble. You don't write the sign like that.
And you're just Arby. You gotta deliver something else if you're gonna put a sign up like that. Seriously?
Although Mike agrees with me, Janelle. So what you gonna do?
That
now?
it's good.
He agrees with me that if you got to think of other people first.
Yeah.
You got kids that might act crazy. Don't go out.
I agree.
Or go to a restaurant like Chuck E. Cheese where it's designed for them to go crazy.
It doesn't have to be Chuck E. Cheese. That's crazy.
Chuck E. Cheese is like a petri dish, though. The place scares me. Have they ever wiped that place down?
I feel so bad for our younger ones. We lived in Chuck E. Cheese, and I'm so sick of it. Nia, like when we went one time, like years ago, she was like, it was like amazing to her, and I felt bad because I was like, man, she missed out.
Well, first of all, it's like they never clean it.
We weren't saying that when we had 1 or 2 kids. You were there.
Well, but could they at least make good pizza? They don't even try on that
Yeah.
pizza. You notice that? They're just dialing it in. They're like, well, I guess we can have pizza if you want
And
here.
then it's mad expensive.
Yeah. If I'm going to pay that much for a pizza.
Yes. I mean, you could go to
You probably packed a
Little
lunch.
Caesar. Yes, I did.
You always
I
did
did.
that.
And then I tried one time to walk in with my coffee, and they wouldn't let me come in with coffee. So they're really trying to make you money, Ryan. Mike says a nicer sign asking people to clean up if their children. I like that. If their children make a mess, would have been better. I like that, and the tone is different.
Yeah, it's a good idea. All right, peeps. That's about it for us today.
Bye, guys.
Whoa, that's it? You're just going to say bye like that?
Hasta luego.
Well,
No.
I thought we'd do a little longer goodbye than that.
Bye. It's so cool, man.
Go check out, if you missed them, we got a lot of videos from Chicago that you
Yes,
can see.
those are so much fun. Make sure you look at the one where we're hanging in open line live with Dr. Rydelnik, and then we have other stuff.
And we got to go have lunch with him afterwards, him and Eva. Oh, it was amazing.
Super cool.
He had fun. He said that. We got out of the restaurant, he goes, wasn't that fun? And I go, Michael Rydelnik had fun with me.
Aww.
It was pretty awesome. All right, peeps, we out. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.